Okay, so guys, now starting with this embedded C code for our SPI peripheral device driver. So first thing that you have to think is like first initialization code. So in the initialization code of the SPI, the first thing which you need to do is that first we will configure the pin of the SPI port or the SPI session which we are using. So like as in our STM32 microcontrollers, the STM32F103, we are using SPI1, and SPI1 pins are mapped to my PA4, PA5, PA6 and PA7. I call like SPI underscore remap. The by default the alternate functions of these pins is PA4, PA5, PA6, PA7. So in the picture, in the diagram, also in the photo also of the my circuit, you can see that if you can that my PA4, 5, 6 and 7 pins have been connected to my this chip, the NSS CSK Muso pins. Okay, so using that pins only. And now for our configuration of our SPI pin, what we will be doing, we will be first enabling our RCC peripheral for my SPI also and for my GPIO A pin as GPIO A, because as my these pins are of GPIO A port, so enabling the clock for both of these units. Then my PASCK pin, clock pin, will be used as alternate function output push pull. So correspondingly using those registers CRL and those bits of my CRL register, so as to make it configure in alternate function output push pull. Same way MOSI pin will be in alternate function output and using the CRL bits of my GPIO A, so as to enable my this bit PS7 in alternate function output push pull. Now PSCE pin, select pin, that it will be used in general purpose output mode, because it's not an alternate function mode, it's in a general purpose GPIO output pin which will be enabling the high and low signal for starting our SPI communication. So it will be used as a general purpose output push pull and correspondingly enabling the bits of my CRL register of my GPIO peripheral in STM32 microcontrollers. Now MISO pin will be input pin. Why? Because it will be getting data, as its name stands, MISO master in slave out. So slave will be sending data and MISO master pin will be getting data. So it's an input get output, it's an input. Okay, so correspondingly configuring the CRL bits so as to make it configure in floating input mode. The next thing in SPI initialization is to configure the baud rate. So as I have told you, for the baud rate, like let me just navigate to you to the SPI peripheral peripheral and its registers. So for the baud rate, we will be using the CR1 register, SPI underscore CR1, and its baud rate BR220 bits 5 to 3 control the baud rate. Now FPCLK, the by default CL frequency which I have configured for all my STM32 codes is my, like in my RCC peripheral video you can see it. Okay, so in that I have configured it in a 32 megahertz. My central system clock frequency is 32 megahertz. Okay, and I am using the external high frequency crystal oscillator which is on board to our STM32 microcontrollers blue chip. So and I am dividing it by the 32 so as to make my clock frequency of 1 megahertz. So I will be configuring BR in 100 mode. So that's what I have done in my SPI under SPI CH register. Okay, let me just open my main.c. Okay, so the BR bit, as you can see that my BR0 and BR1 will be set to 1. My BR0 and BR1 will be set to 0 and BR2 bit will be set to 1. So that's what I have done. BR2 bit is set to 1 and BR1 and BR0 are set to 0 only. Then I am configuring my slave select pin. As I have told you in the previous video, SSM bit will be used as 0 and SSOA bit will be used to 1. This will configure my slave select pin in the GPIO output mode. So in this way I will be able to control my SPI communication by making the pin low and high. GPIO pin, and then master selection pin, MSTR bit, and then simply enabling my SPI communication. That's all you have to do in the SPI initialization code. In the transmit byte, the thing are very simple. Our data register is SPI underscore data register, DR data. Okay, so what we will be doing, we will be like, you will see here in my status register bit register, okay, SPI underscore SR register, for transmitting, when we will be transmitting data, we have to basically keep a check on two bits, busy flag and the TXE flag. Okay, so the busy flag TXE is transmitter buffer empty, that my buffer of my shift register, the block diagram which I have shown you is empty and it has been transmitted out. So I can, now my buffer is empty, so it will be set to 1 when my buffer is empty. And busy state signifies that when my SPI communication has properly terminated the TX buffer and it is ready to accept the new data, so that signifying that my whole TX buffer register is also empty and it is also successfully transmitted the data from my MOSI pin. So that's what we will be doing. We will be first taking a while loop on TXE bit, means my buffer is now empty. Then taking a while loop on the busy bit, that okay, my buffer is also empty now and also my data has been successfully transmitted out from the MOSI pin. So that's what we have to simply write on the SPI underscore master transmit byte. And in the SPI underscore master receive byte, first we will send any false value, any dummy data to my slave so as to start the SPI receive byte session. Then I will be waiting till the busy bit, till my this bit has properly transmitted out, so making the while loop, and then in the next simultaneous cycle only I will be waiting for getting the received data. So the received data, that is MISO pin, has received all the data master in slave out, that is monitored by the RxNE bit, so making that bit inside the while loop. And till it is in the while loop, I will be getting the data, so I will receive that byte in a variable and then return that receive byte register. Okay, so that's what you have to write in the receive byte. And in the exchange byte, both of these registers will be functions will be combined. Okay, so in the main function, that's what I have only done. First I have called the system clock so as to configure in 32 MHz. Then I have called the SPI initialization function. This configures my SPI according to the configuration which I have made in the, which I have just told you. Okay, and then in the main function, in the while function, simply state the GPIO pin low, that is GPIO A under ODR register, as my, this is PA4 is my slave select pin, so making it low. Then sending the transmit byte of any byte which you want, so like I am sending the 0x9F to my SPI flash chip, this one. Okay, and then I will be receiving the bytes via SPI master receive byte and then disabling the session by making the pin high again. Okay, so that's simply the how you write the SPI session, simple read write byte and the initialization function. As you have write in the SPI transmit byte, we are sending a single byte, we can simultaneously send simultaneously made a function for transmitting a string, in which we will be making this function again and again till a x amount of size which we want to send from the from a buffer. Okay, so I hope you all get to know that how to write this SPI communication code. Okay, for our STM32F103 microcontrollers, and this is in concentration with these my flash chip memory devices. And same way out we will you can write the whole SPI flash chip application code for these flash chips, as I have done in the previous AVIA microcontroller videos also, using the SPI device driver of master and receive functions, as you can see in the video, in this video, as I have told you in this video. Okay guys, so that's it for now. I hope you like the video and you get to know about SPI configuration in STM32 microcontrollers. Okay, now in the next videos, upcoming videos, I will be having a special surprise for you. There will be a new member joining the Get to Byte channel and uploading their content on a topic which is a surprise to you guys. And in the next upcoming videos, there will be things related to the logic analyzer, debugging of STM32 microcontrollers, and the SWB, SWO, and all such kind of things